You're quite slow. Please hurry up with dinner and also tidy up the rooms. My mother-in-law, Lily, appears to be in high spirits while giving me orders. It's almost as if she relishes the opportunity to boss me around. My husband, Evan, seems to consider this entirely normal, as though lightly treating me like her servant is expected. Oh dear, your house is so comfortable and lovely. Having a maid is a great help as well. Mom, feel free to utilize her services. And you, Nora, better put in some hard work. My name is Nora, and I'm a 32-year-old office worker. I recently married a man named Evan, whom I met through a blind date. Initially, he didn't leave a strong impression on me. However, as we sat next to each other and chatted, we discovered we shared similar tastes and interests, particularly in music and movies. Our conversation flowed effortlessly, and we exchanged contact information, leading to more meetings. After several dates, we officially became a couple. 2 years later, we tied the knot, and I was overjoyed to marry the man I loved. During our dating phase, Evan was a true gentleman, taking care of my well-being and even cooking for me when I was busy with work. I believed our marriage would be filled with happiness. However, after we began living together, I discovered Evan's true nature. His attitude underwent a significant change as soon as we were married. Now that we're married, it's the wife's responsibility to handle all the housework. So Nora, make sure you do it well. What's gotten into you all of a sudden? I asked, taken aback. I'm just stating the obvious, he replied casually. It's always been a rule that the wife handles the housework. I grew up in that kind of family environment, so you should follow suit. What? Hold on a second. We both have jobs, you know. Nowadays, it's much more common to share household chores, isn't it? I can't accept such a traditional mindset being imposed on me. I see, Lily, you're the kind of person who easily goes along with trends like that, huh? No, that's not what I meant. What I'm trying to convey is that it's not fair for me to shoulder all the housework and burdens alone. You're only focused on your job and won't do any housework, while I'm expected to juggle both work and household duties, you know? Come on, you keep arguing back at me, huh? If you can't do it, why don't you just admit it honestly? The truth is, you can't handle it, which is why you're coming up with excuses, right? And you're justifying yourself by using terms like old-fashioned, right? That's not true. Oh, you don't need to be so stubborn about it. If you can't do something, just say so. Fine, if you put it that way, then I'll do it. I'll handle the housework, even when I come home from work. Is that what you want? So you'll let me do it, huh? It's a promise then. You better stand by your words. I got upset because he provoked me like that. Just you wait. I'm going to manage both my job and the household duties flawlessly. With determination, I focused on excelling in both areas. I even made an effort to vary our dinner menu as much as possible to avoid complaints from my husband. He was impressed with how I balanced work and household responsibilities, and he didn't complain. I knew you could do it. I felt a bit irritated with myself for getting unintentionally flattered by Evan's praise. I did my best, so can you step up this time? Oh, were you thinking of not doing it either? It's not very manly to let a woman handle everything and not contribute. Excuse me? My husband took the bait. If you keep that attitude with me, you're going to face consequences. Oh, and what kind of consequences are those? Please show me. How about surprising me by flawlessly handling all the household chores as part of your work? I suggested this, thinking my husband might take on the housework himself. However, things didn't go as planned. What are you talking about? I don't do house chores. What? I told you last time that house chores are the wife's responsibility, didn't I? Have you already forgotten? What a dummy. Of course I remember that, but aren't you intrigued by the idea of surprising me by showing that you can handle house chores too? Well, it's not what I'm supposed to be doing. So nope, no way. I thought my strategy had failed, so I attempted a different approach with Evan. But then he said something completely unexpected. I don't think you're acting like a proper wife yet, so I'm thinking of asking my mom to help you. Pardon me? What do you mean you're going to ask your mother to help me? I'm considering asking my mother to come here. Maybe we can live together. What? Live together? I don't want to do that. What are you talking about? I won't allow you to reject my mother like that. But we've only been married for about 3 months. I can't even think about living with your mother with such little notice. Your selfishness is quite evident. You clearly need some guidance. Evan, you're the one being selfish here. You don't even properly listen to my opinions and try to decide everything on your own. You really don't understand, huh? Well, that's what marriage is all about. Excuse me? Everything the husband says is a must, but in return, he will take all the responsibility? My husband presented such an unbelievable logic, but no matter how much I expressed my dissatisfaction, he wouldn't listen to me. A few days later, my mother-in-law, Lily, actually came over. "I'm so sorry to bother you." "Oh, Mom, you're here. It's been a while, Lily." "Oh, Nora, I didn't know you were here. You're so inconspicuous that I didn't even notice your presence." Lily suddenly addressed me with coldness in her tone. "Anyway, I heard that you're not fulfilling your duties as a wife properly." No, I do my household chores properly, and Avon has never complained about it." "Oh, I can't have you acting so arrogantly." "Well, that's not exactly like that, but I suppose you can't help it. I'll help you get back on track." Saying this, Lily entered the house with her large suitcases. "Are you really planning to live with us?" "Oh, you're so irritating. If you had behaved properly, this wouldn't have happened. If you want to hold a grudge against me, then you should know it's all your incompetence and bad attitude's fault." "All right then, brew some coffee and prepare some snacks. Oh, and make sure and prepare mine as well." As soon as I finished serving the coffee, I was tasked with preparing dinner, cleaning the shower, and tidying the restroom. Lily and Evan ordered me around while they relaxed together. I wasn't allowed to join them for coffee, and they made me do the housework while they enjoyed themselves. It was frustrating to hear Lily and Evan laughing while I toiled away. This was my day off, so it was bearable, but Lily's bullying and her forcing me to handle all the household chores were the norm even on weekdays when I returned from work. "You're late. Hurry up and make dinner. Yes, clean the bathtub, and afterward, prepare the bath. The laundry is piling up, and clean the rooms." My mother-in-law, Lily, appeared to derive great pleasure from ordering me around, and my husband, Evan, seemed to consider it completely normal for Lily to treat me like a servant. "Wow, honey, your house is really cozy and nice. Having a maid certainly helps a lot. Mom, feel free to make use of her. Hey, Nora, make sure you work hard." The two of them taunted me with such comments. How did this happen? It felt like a scam to witness such a drastic change in my husband after marriage. And now Lily had moved in without permission. But what about her husband, Evan? Did she not have any household responsibilities of her own home? I had asked Lily about it before, but she simply replied, "You don't need to worry about that." Since then, I hadn't dared to bring it up again, but I decided to take the initiative and visit Lily and Evan's home to find out for myself. According to Lily and Evan, Evan held more authority in the household and considered himself the most significant person in the family. I didn't perceive Evan as such a terrible person. He used to be kind before we got married, so that wasn't much help in the present situation. To avoid raising suspicions from Lily and Evan about my visit, I told them I was going grocery shopping and went over to their house on my day off. When I pressed the doorbell, a woman I had never seen before answered the door. I was so surprised that I froze. Who are you?" the unfamiliar woman asked, appearing slightly taken aback. "Oh well, I'm Nora, the wife of Evan's son, Evan," I replied nervously. "Huh, Evan's son? What does she mean?" I thought to myself, feeling even more bewildered. Just then, Evan appeared at the door, possibly having overheard our conversation. "Oh, it's you, Nora. What's going on?" he asked. "Huh? I came over to talk to you about Lily," I stammered. "Oh, I see. Does this mean that Evan didn't discuss this with you, Nora?" "Huh? Yes, it seems that way." Evan then invited me into the house, and we sat down in the living room to talk. The woman who had answered the door was Evan's mother, and she and Evan had already separated. "What? Oh, really?" I exclaimed, surprised to hear about Lily and Evan's divorce. "I'm so sorry for not telling you sooner. The truth is, before you and Evan got married, we were already in the midst of divorce proceedings. But I couldn't bring myself to tell my son about his own parents' divorce while he should have been enjoying his life and getting married to you. I thought I would fulfill my parental duties until after the wedding," Evan's mother explained. I had no idea. I thought Evan would have mentioned it by now, but this is the first time I'm hearing about it, I admitted. "My ex-wife and I divorced because of her affair," Evan added. "Huh? The divorce didn't go smoothly because Lily didn't want to pay alimony, and she was reluctant to get a divorce. She's now paying alimony monthly, but when it comes to Lily, anything can happen at any time," Evan said with a hint of frustration. "But I'll pursue her relentlessly and make her pay, that's for sure." I was bombarded with a whirlwind of information, and my mind felt like it was on the brink of overload. I sought solace in a cup of tea provided by Evan's current wife to steady my nerves. "By the way, Nora, why did you come here today? You mentioned you wanted to discuss something about Lily." "Wait a minute, Evan was involved with Lily and spreading such terrible things about me. I hate to say it, but I'm not the one in control of the household at all. It was Lily who never did any housework and went out every night. To make matters worse, she was the one who had an affair. So when I returned home from work, I'd always had to cook and eat dinner alone, as well as do all the laundry and cleaning by myself. What? That's completely contrary to what Evan and Lily claimed. Nora, you don't have to continue being their victim. You should leave them immediately, Evan's mother advised me. I thought Evan's mother was right and made up my mind to leave Evan and Lily. I had taken our marriage seriously, preoccupied with the fact that we had been married for less than a year and had once loved each other. However, this was causing me to suppress my true feelings. If I continued living with those two, I knew I would eventually break down both mentally and physically. When I returned home, Evan and Lily were nowhere to be found. When I messaged my husband to inquire about their whereabouts, he replied, "I'm having dinner with my mom tonight, so we won't need dinner." They must have assumed I was at the grocery store preparing dinner, so they went out to eat deliberately to hassle me. Despite my annoyance, it worked in my favor. I swiftly packed only the essentials, left the house, and returned to my parents' home. My parents were surprised by my abrupt return, but upon hearing the situation, they were furious at Evan and Lily. They assured me that I could stay at home as long as needed until I felt better. About 2 hours later, around 9 p.m., Evan called my phone, but I chose not to answer. The phone rang repeatedly, but I continued to ignore it. Annoyed by the constant calls, I eventually turned off my phone and went to sleep. The following morning, I left my parents' house and headed to work. As I turned my phone on while heading to work, I was greeted by an overwhelming number of missed calls and messages. It was evident that both Evan and Lily were furious with me for abandoning my household duties and ceasing to act as their maid when I spent the night away and didn't return. For the next 3 days, I stayed in my parents' house, deliberately ignoring any calls or messages from my husband. Eventually, arrangements were made with my lawyer, so I decided to review the messages. I found numerous angry messages from my husband, including inquiries like, "Where are you?" and "Screw you," along with hurtful remarks such as, "You're an unfit wife. I married a woman like you, and now I'm disappointed in you because you're so useless, and come home quickly and do your chores." These messages were filled with heartless words. Upon realizing that I had read all his messages, Evan immediately called me. "Yes. Hey, stop joking around. Why aren't you coming back home? I am sick and tired of being pushed around by you two. Shut the hell up. You better stop being so selfish and just come back home. I've taken a dull woman like you into our family as my wife, so you should at least take care of the house, you piece of crap." I couldn't believe he was saying such hurtful things. "Well then, a dull woman like me will divorce a lousy, morally dishonest mama's boy like you then? Huh? It means I'm divorcing you. Huh? Divorce? What the hell are you saying? I'm being serious. I've already hired a lawyer, so I'll fight you until the end." You hired a lawyer? Are you out of your mind? I'll do whatever it takes to get away from you. Anyway, divorce is a must, and I'll take whatever I can get. I concluded our conversation and hung up on him. Evan continued to say something on his end, but I couldn't care less about what he had to say. I officially initiated the divorce process through my lawyer and also demanded alimony due to the moral harassment I endured from Evan and Lily. I had recorded many of the hurtful things they had said to me up to that point, providing proof for my claims. Evan protested, but he couldn't escape the evidence. As for Lily, in addition to the alimony, she faced a lawsuit from Evan for defamation, as she had damaged Evan's reputation by spreading false information about him to others. In addition to the alimony for her affair, Lily also had to pay alimony for defamation. It came to my attention that Evan was actually aware of Lily and Evan's ongoing divorce settlement. The reason he adopted that dreadful, domineering attitude towards me was to ensure that I would comply with his wishes and follow Lily's lead. Since Evan was a mama's boy, he was willing to sacrifice me to support Lily. This explained why he insisted I continue working and handle all the housework, intending to use our joint savings to cover Lily's alimony. I'm grateful that I divorced Evan before he could carry out his plan. As for Evan and Lily afterward, both of them were burdened with alimony payments and had to live in extreme poverty. Since Lily had done very little housework, Evan ended up working 2 jobs to support their living expenses and pay their alimony, all while managing the household chores. I'm so exhausted. Please help me. I received a message from Evan, but I chose to ignore it and quietly blocked him. Meanwhile, I've been living modestly and saving money by renting an apartment. Recently, I've accumulated a significant amount of savings and am considering investing to further grow my assets.